Coming up next on this edition of In the City, one local organization makes owning a home a dream come true for a local family. Also, a new kind of mural is unveiled downtown. Plus, Murfreesboro City school teachers get vaccinated. And we speak with the county about a COVID financial relief program. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Lynn White. The Rutherford Area Habitat for Humanity dedicates another new home to a deserving family at the Legacy Point subdivision. Owning a home in Rutherford County is becoming increasingly more expensive, but today, one family's dream of owning a home becomes a reality. The Rutherford Area Habitat for Humanity works with many organizations and members of the community to bring affordable housing to hardworking families.
Affordable housing is a broad term, but for those who are considered low income, working, poor, this is an opportunity for them to become a homeowner.
As Demetri Sneed received the keys to her new home, surrounded by family and supporters, she says the almost 2.5-year process was worth the wait.
The process was lengthy, but it was well worth it. You know, the classes, you know, sweat equity and all that stuff. I enjoyed it.
Legacy Point is the first Habitat for Humanity subdivision in Rutherford County. Purchase of the land was made possible through a partnership with the city of Murfreesboro, something organizers tell us is crucial in making projects like this a reality.
Land has become so scarce, and the opportunity to have a place to build for the next 7 to 10 years is phenomenal. That takes some of the pressure off and provides the security to our community to know that we're going to be able to build affordable housing.
After putting in 350 hours of sweat equity and over 50 hours of financial education classes, Ms. Sneed has one thing to say to those who helped make her dream come true.
Thank you to everyone that played a part in making my home a home.
Habitat for Humanity builds 8 to 10 homes per year. This is the first of 4 phases for the Legacy Point subdivision. For City TV, Michael Lynn White. Thanks to several local artists donating their talents, Murfreesboro gets its first pop-up mural downtown. Murals in Murfreesboro have become increasingly popular.
Art brings joy to and hope and encouragement.
When Rutherford Arts Alliance board member Jenny Togry was thinking of new mural concepts, she had the idea of a pop-up, something where artists could paint from home and showcase several different artists.
We can change themes throughout the year so you're not stuck with a single design.
The result is this unique mural from 21 different artists on the side of the Walnut House in downtown.
It is an experiment. These materials may or may not be weather enduring. We think they will be, and we used the correct kind of paint and a coat over the top of it, so we'll see what happens, and if not, we're going to change the materials next time.
Ricky Martini of the Walnut House designed a custom system for hanging these pieces made from a lightweight foam insulation board, and the finished product is one of a kind. Rutherford Arts Alliance hopes projects like this will continue to inspire residents and visitors, further making Murfreesboro a cultural destination. For City TV, Michael Lynn White. Murfreesboro City Schools is doing their part in the fight against COVID, with the district providing vaccines for over 800 employees. Once the Tennessee Department of Health transitioned to Phase 1B, Murfreesboro City Schools were ready to give vaccines to any employee who wanted one.
Prior to the state opening Phase 1B, we've been working for several months so that when they did open our phase, we would be ready to host this pod. And a pod is just a point of distribution. That's a place where we can have a lot of people come through and get a vaccine at one time. With help from the Rutherford County Health Department to help streamline the process, 130 people per hour were vaccinated.
Our numbers are decreasing in Murfreesboro City Schools. Our positive tests are decreasing in Murfreesboro City Schools with students and staff. And this is just another level of winning the battle against COVID.
More vaccinations mean less quarantines and less sick days, helping teachers and students feel more confident in returning to school.
I have children in the school district because I'm a parent with Murfreesboro City Schools as well, and so we hope that this will mean less quarantines. We hope this will mean that the kids will have more time in the classroom and that we can keep our doors open.
The second round of vaccines will be given March 26th. For City TV, Michael Lynn White. Rutherford County's public information officer tells us about a financial program bringing aid to renters and landlords.
As you know, there was absolutely no playbook or pre-planning available for COVID, and so everybody was just kind of knocked off of our feet there for a moment. But I think the really unique thing about the way that the county handled things was we did pull in, the expertise from other jurisdictions within the county. So we had health department, we had, the state, we had our local leaders and local communicators, local experts. For as much of a challenge as it was, it really pulled all of us together to help to do everything that we could for the betterment of our community. The Emergency Rental Assistance Program is actually a statewide program, but 4 entities decided to kind of go in on their own, and that was Shelby County, Knox County, Davidson, and Rutherford. And what that allowed us to do was to keep more of those funds here locally to help those in our community who are suffering with their rent and their utilities. County residents who have either directly or indirectly been affected by the pandemic as far as their household income, and maybe they're in arrears on rent and then also on their utilities. We're able through this program to help them with that. So we have a ton of frequently asked questions on our website. It's rutherfordcounty10.gov/rental-relief-program. So simple enough. But a lot of those frequently asked questions cover eligibility, how do I apply. The portal link to apply is also on that page, that landing page. There's questions that are specific to landlords, questions that are specific to tenants, because actually both of them can apply. Monies will be paid directly to landlords or utility companies on behalf of the tenant. We have an estimated $9 million to distribute here in the community. If there is a question that you don't see that's addressed on those frequently asked questions, you can also call the call center. We recently launched www.covidrc.com. And that eliminated the need for anybody in the county who wanted to get a vaccine to have to go and see if they were eligible first. So if you want a vaccine at all, you can go to that site, you can sign up, and it will ask you a series of questions and place you in whatever phase you may be in, and you will be contacted when you're in the eligible phase. We also have a limited operations COVID-19 vaccine call center, so if somebody doesn't have a computer, I absolutely cannot express enough gratitude and just how proud we are of our health department and its interim director, LaShann Dixon. I mean, it has been a challenging year, but it seems like they've met all of those challenges. And in the beginning, yes, there may be some things to tweak and work out. Again, no playbook for this. They're very quick to remedy any of those items. So we just continue to ask that people be patient when they sign up on the system. You may have this, and we've had some cases of this, where the same household has 2 or 3 members sign up, and maybe 2 of them get called before the other one does. And just be patient. You're going to get the call or the email. It just takes them a while to process through that list.
Since this story first aired, the Tennessee Department of Health and Rutherford County government have announced that LaShann Dixon has been named the new Rutherford County Public Health Department Director. Dixon has served as interim director since previous director Dana Garrett passed away unexpectedly in October 2020. Also, Rutherford County is now booking appointments for citizens aged 16 and older who wish to receive the COVID-19 vaccination. The Rutherford County Health Department reminds all of us that in addition to vaccination, wearing a face mask, maintaining social distance, and getting tested when exposed or sick are critical to reducing the spread of COVID-19 in our community. A Northfield Elementary School class works on a one-of-a-kind project they hope will inspire others to make good choices.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the squeegee.
After reading a Jackie Robinson biography in class, Northfield Elementary teacher Sarah Easterly wanted a project for students to show what they learned about making choices.
As we were reading, we talked about what it takes for influencers to be positive with their influences and what characteristics they have that make them successful.
That's when the idea of designing a t-shirt came up with the help of another school employee who does screen printing on the side.
So what you got to do, you got to get about... It was really exciting doing something like screen printing that I do at home as a hobby, to kind of implement it with what Miss Easterly is doing in her classroom with social studies, and really just a way to kind of implement technology in the classroom.
Through a contest for the design, 2 students were chosen, and together their design was screen printed on the shirts.
To see their design come to life instead of it just being something you turn in and get a grade on, they actually got to see it come to life. They've been very excited. They've talked about this a lot.
This project not only inspires students to make good choices, but also introduced them to new ideas and maybe even a business of their own one day.
As students, that the choices that you make can lead to being fruitful and being able to provide a demand based on the supply that you have.
With such innovative ideas, it's no surprise that Miss Easterly was named one of Murfreesboro City Schools Teacher of the Year. For City TV, Michael Lynn White. Murfreesboro City Council meets with state representatives and senators to discuss bills and topics coming up in the General Assembly. They lay out what they're working on. Murfreesboro City Council recently met at the new airport with state representatives and senators to discuss bills and topics coming up in the General Assembly. They laid out what they're working on.
In Tennessee, for TANF, which is the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, it is a program to help with cash assistance, wraparound services for those members of our society that need help. We are utilizing those funds in a way that will help get people off of TANF, help get them into income mobility. I've got a public safety package, and that's where if somebody is paid to riot and they have an intent to come in and riot, they will have an increased penalty. And the other bill is First Responder Safety Act, which enhances penalties for those that harass first responders.
I've been working 4 years on the violent mental health care bill that would address mass shootings and mass killings, which we don't have any legislation in Tennessee to authorize a policeman to investigate or charge someone or see if they need psychiatric help. We've been having a lot of campaign finance reform. Of course, I'm chairman of campaigns and elections. A couple of professors at MTSU push every year, and along with activists from Memphis and Nashville, is they want to put a taxpayer-funded, local taxpayer-funded operating precinct on every campus in the middle of the campus to register out-of-state kids. We have not let them participate in elections unless they get a residence here and they register. They're fully able to do that. The Unborn Child Dignity Act, and that's not dealing or outlawing abortion. It just says that aborted fetuses should be treated with dignity and buried or cremated. We also had something with the new executive orders that's going to affect the city and it's going to affect businesses in Murfreesboro to give transgender rights the right to, like a man to use a woman's restroom, if that is implemented and accepted. A sexual predator can use that new rule to be on bathrooms that have multiple stalls. They can be waiting on children and women. So I'm simply carrying a bill that says, I'm not saying you can or can't do that. I'm simply saying that a warning sign needs to be put on the bathroom before they enter so they know that to be careful if they're going into a bathroom with multiple stalls, and that this facility allows the opposite sex into the restroom.
We are trying to pass a $41.8 billion budget right now in the state, and 80% of that will go to 5 things. It will go to education, it will go to health care, go to transportation, your roads, it will go to criminal justice, and it will kind of go to social services. 80% will go to all those things. We're going to build our rainy day fund up to $1.5 billion in the state. Put an additional $341 million new money toward K-12. An additional $157 million of new money to higher ed, an additional $181 million toward health, another $100 million toward corrections, an additional $472 million toward business and rural development, and of that, $200 million of it will be toward broadband, which is probably not as big of an issue here, but it's a huge deal down in Bedford, Marshall, and Lincoln counties. We're real close to, we're getting close to 250,000 additional vaccines every week now. that every week we're getting 250,000 doses of vaccine in Nashville. She said about 55% of people that are being offered the vaccine are getting the vaccine around the state right now. So that means 45% are not getting it. And she said at this pace, she really felt like by sometime around the middle to the end of April, we're going to have a surplus of vaccine. We're going to have more vaccine than people that need it statewide. Working on a specific bill with the County Powers Act here in town. And I'd be more than happy to talk about any of these bills specifically, but that's just kind of a 30,000-foot view of what I got my hands on.
One of the bills that I was honored to carry for the governor was the Held Harmless bill. We're going to have to take the T and ready, because if we do not take it this year, we will have to go off of 3-year-old data. And we're spending around $164 million for our summer programs starting this summer. So we've got to have up-to-date data to know where the students are to start them at that place. One of the things that is 9 years ago, I lived in a bubble, like a lot of people did, and didn't believe that human trafficking, sex trafficking is a problem, especially here in Rutherford County. Well, it's a huge, huge problem across our state. So I'm carrying 4 to 5 bills on sex trafficking this year. And then one of my bills got passed this morning on the floor. Of course, I think it's very timely with all the e-commerce buying that's going online. If you steal a package off of a porch or a mailbox, then the penalties are stiffer.
I've got a bill called the Dr. Linda Gilbert Act, and I had the county commission take a position on it. It's expanding social workers in schools, and you may not think, well, what does that matter? Social workers in school. And one of the most common issues that I hear from teachers is the frustration with student behavior, with mental health, in those areas. The last email I got from Dr. Linda Gilbert, I don't know if y'all heard me read that quote off, but just paraphrase her. She says, like, Rivers and Sparks, thank you for listening. And she says, the behaviors of the 6 to 9-year-olds, they're off the charts. I've never seen this. What it is, I'm just asking for the hymn Amazing Grace to be an official state hymn, official state song. Let's see, I've got a limited education scholarship bill that I'm calling the property tax relief. This bill will save more money than any bill ever introduced in Tennessee's General Assembly in the history. Sounds crazy, but what it'll do, it'll expand choice for parents. Oh, I've got a bill that'll freeze the mayor's pay raise and the sheriff's. Y'all think I'm crazy. It saves $3 million. I ran it 10 years ago. A lot of people don't realize that they went to the state to get raises, not Bill, not issue.
You're safe.
It saves $3 million. It don't affect you.
Yeah, you're safe in this room.
I'm just kidding.
City TV and the Murfreesboro Police Department join forces to solve cold cases in a new segment called MPD Crime Files.
From the MPD Crime Files, the unsolved murder of Fausto Hernandez. It was 5 years ago that Hernandez was murdered, and detectives with the Murfreesboro Police Department Criminal Investigations Division continue to investigate this senseless crime. On July 15, 2016, around 9:01 p.m., Fausto Hernandez was seen walking into the neighborhood market and tobacco located at 1208 East Northfield Boulevard in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. At approximately 9:06 p.m., he exits the store and walks around the side of the building, which is in the direction he normally travels to walk home. Hernandez was originally from Texas. The 58-year-old was temporarily working in Murfreesboro, staying with his daughter who lives nearby. At around 9:12 p.m., 3 juveniles who had walked from their home to the store passed Hernandez sitting on a rock, talking on a cell phone, behind Marco's Pizza, also located at 1208 East Northfield Boulevard.
Yes, me. Yeah,
this is the last known time that anyone saw Hernandez alive.
It was all right. I'm just chilling. Yeah, we got off late work.
According to Hernandez's wife, Carmen, she was on the phone with him talking until about 9:15 p.m. when they hung up.
Okay, well, I will talk to you later, baby. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
The wife says he almost immediately called her back.
Hello? Hello, Fausto? Fausto, can you hear me?
It was during this time she did not hear her husband, but what sounded like an African-American male voice and maybe another male arguing in the background. At around 9:30 p.m., 4 more people walked by the victim and saw him lying on the ground. They walked over to what was then the family video located next to the neighborhood market and Marco's Pizza and called 911.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
It was around the same time that the 3 juveniles who saw Hernandez sitting on the rock talking on his cell phone left family video and noticed him on the ground as well. Around 9:32 p.m., the 3 ran and found an adult who then ran to Marco's Pizza and told them there was a man shot behind the business and had them call 911.
Someone's been shot. Is the suspect still in the area?
The victim was identified as Fausto Hernandez. Hernandez told the initial first responders that he was shot by an African-American male. Due to his serious injuries, Hernandez was unable to provide any further details. He was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he died a short time later. The Murfreesboro Police Department needs the community's help daily working case files like this one. If you have any information about the murder of Fausto Hernandez or any other unsolved case, please call the Murfreesboro Police Department Criminal Investigations Division at 615-893-2717 or email us at crimetips@murfreesborotn.gov. For MPD Crime Files, I'm Larry Flowers.
This is the time of year when citizens, especially in this part of the country, experience severe weather, including dangerous tornadoes.
How prepared are you when a tornado is possible? Here are some tips to get you ready. Let's start with what the difference is between a watch and a warning. A watch is issued when tornadoes and other severe weather are a possibility. It doesn't mean tornadoes are imminent, but that you need to be alert and prepared just in case. A warning means a tornado has been confirmed or Doppler radar indicates circulation that could spawn a tornado. When a warning is issued, take immediate safety actions. Some danger signs regarding tornadoes include strong persistent rotation in the cloud base, whirling dust and debris on the ground under a cloud base. Sometimes tornadoes have no funnel, hail or heavy rain followed by either dead calm or a fast, intense wind shift. Many tornadoes are obscured by heavy precipitation and can't be seen. Loud continuous roar or rumble that doesn't fade in a few seconds. Bright blue-green to white flashes at ground level near a thunderstorm, as opposed to silvery lightning up in the clouds. These mean power lines are being snapped by very strong winds or a tornado, and persistent lowering from a cloud base, illuminated or silhouetted by lightning, especially if it's on the ground or there is a blue, green, white power flash underneath. When severe weather is present, keep tuned to your local TV and radio stations for updates, download weather apps that provide alerts, and have a weather radio handy. Once a warning has been issued, here are some tips to know. If you live in a house with a basement, avoid windows. If there's enough time to do this, close and lock exterior doors and windows. You will want to get under some kind of sturdy protection, such as a heavy table or workbench. Cover yourself with a mattress or a sleeping bag for protection of falling debris. If you live in a dorm or an apartment, go to the lowest floor of your complex, small center room like a bathroom or closet, under a stairwell, or in an interior hallway with no windows. Crouch as low as possible to the floor, facing down, and cover your head with your hands. Again, cover yourself with some sort of thick padding such as a mattress or blankets to protect against falling debris. If you're outside, seek shelter if possible in a sturdy building or in a culvert. Just be aware of the potential for flooding, especially if you take shelter in a culvert. If those aren't possible, lie flat and face down on low ground, protecting the back of your head with your arms. And finally, get as far away from trees and vehicles as you can. They may be blown onto you in a tornado. This has been a public service message from Murfreesboro City TV.
Murfreesboro Public Works Department employee Jeff Todd has been named STARS Award recipient. STARS stands for Succeeding Through Attitudes Reflecting Service Excellence. The STARS Service Excellence program is intended to recognize outstanding employees who embody the city's standard for service excellence and exemplify the city's core service values. Todd went above and beyond the call of duty in responding to smoke coming from a side street as he was driving on Joe B. Jackson Parkway. As he turned onto Cedar Street, he saw a duplex with smoke billowing out of the roof. He immediately called 911. He knocked on all doors and windows to notify anyone that may have been inside, and thankfully no one was home. When the Rutherford County Fire Department arrived, fire was visible on one side of the duplex. Jeff's quick thinking no doubt saved 2 dwellings and personal belongings. Todd was hired by the Murfreesboro Water Department as an equipment operator in August of 1996. He transferred to the Street Department in 2018 as an equipment operator and was promoted to a CCTV technician on the stormwater crew. He was recently promoted as a crew member in December 2020. The Murfreesboro Police Department is pleased to announce the launch of a new and enhanced web page. The web page features a modern design, easy-to-use navigation, and offers tools to make it easier to find police-related resources online. The new web page is designed with residents in mind, said Police Chief Michael Bowen. As we continue to advance community policing, the web page provides better access and interactive experience for users. A spring job fair will be held Tuesday, April 27th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Tennessee College of Applied Technology Smyrna campus parking lot at 663 Pilkerton Drive. Rutherford Works has partnered with TCAT Smyrna, Workford Essentials, the American Job Center, Murfreesboro City, and Rutherford County Schools to host the event. Main Street Jazz Fest is back, happening this year on Saturday, May 1st from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the historic downtown square. Over 12 food trucks, an interactive kids alley featuring hands-on musical activities, and downtown shops open for you to shop. 2 pre-show music clinics for early elementary age children and high school to adults will be offered in the morning. The Jazz Fest music event is focusing on student jazz bands from noon to 4. There are 3 professional bands performing from 4 to 8 p.m. for 1-hour blocks each. For more information, go to www.mainstreetmurfreesboro.org. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the City of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Lynn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.